Hi everyone, my name's Joel Gujral and I'm the founder and CEO of a mental health company, MYNDUP. And I'm going to spend 10 minutes today talking to you about how to support those in the workplace with neurodiverse conditions and invisible illnesses. These are the four main topics that we're going to cover in the 10 minutes. And I thought I'll start off by actually telling you why I'm actually here today and why these topics mean so much to me. They actually date back to my own personal journey and experience. A few years ago, I was working in a global corporate, and out of the blue, I actually had an invisible illness take over my life, and it actually lasted for 8 months being undiagnosed. And I went round in circles in the NHS trying to get support, and it then affected my mental health, and I actually then developed depression that wouldn't go away for several months. And I didn't know quite what to do at the time. But I thought with my corporate company with 50,000 staff, they'd definitely be able to support me. But after reaching out to my manager, she didn't know where to signpost me. And I was left quite stuck, hopeless and alone. But then I then had the courage to speak to HR, who then said we got occupational health just counselling. But to access it, there was very long wait times and a long eligibility process. So I actually paid for counselling privately. But that didn't work for me. And it was actually life coaching that saved and changed my life. And it was from that moment onwards that I set out on a mission to do two things. And that was show the world there's no single solution to mental health, but also change the way organisations are doing things by removing all barriers to care. And that's why these two topics today mean so much to me. And I want to start off with a little bit about what is neurodiversity. So neurodiversity cover conditions like dyslexia, ADHD, but then all the way through to things like clinical depression as well. And what is actually really striking is that 15% of the UK population is actually neurodiverse. And although that figure is striking, the actual figure itself is actually much higher. It's because a lot of people haven't actually been diagnosed with these conditions. And then what are invisible illnesses? So you'll recognise some up here, things like lupus or cancer or inflammatory bowel syndrome, IBS, you might have heard of. And a lot of people view disabilities as being physical, but 70% of disabilities are actually invisible. And actually 15% of the population have an invisible illness. But what's really striking is that only 3% of those people actually disclose this to their employer. And there's three key main reasons for this. Firstly, 30% of people that have disclosed it to their employer have faced discrimination. Also, the second reason is because you have to relive your trauma again and again and again when you disclose it to those people. The third thing is that some of the symptoms are very personal and invasive, and sometimes you haven't even told your closest family and friends or come to terms with them yourself. So how are you meant to present them to someone who's outside of your close circle? And now I want to actually show you 3 common quotes that are said to people with neurodiverse conditions and invisible illnesses. And these have all been said to myself as well. Firstly, you looked fine, so I assume nothing was wrong. You seem flat and less energetic. You didn't seem interested. Now, the impact of that is that people in these cohorts of people, they feel like they've tried their best but failed. And all of these things were coming from people from a good place, not causing to mean any upset. But it really shows you how people mustn't judge and more awareness must be raised. And now we're actually going to flip that and show you some proven quotes to actually help people with neurodiverse conditions and invisible illnesses. Should we take a break? Do we need more time to read this? Do you have the tools you need? And the impact of that is that it really uplifts and empowers the individual without them having to disclose or come out about their condition hundreds of different times to different people, and also provides them with that environment to really flourish. And now I'm going to present to you 3 implementation tools that you can implement in the workplace that we've seen in the industry. Firstly, providing inclusive tools and support. So I'm going to use dyslexia as an example for some of the tools. You can use tools such as Grammarly or Speechify. Speechify is fantastic. I actually use it myself. And it's something that reads any visual you have to you. And it really helps people who struggle by learning visually and audio, and it actually doubles your attention by having audio and visual. And then also inclusive support. What does that mean? That actually means having mental health solutions across the entire mental health spectrum. on offer for your employees. So not just counselling, not just therapy, everything to coaching to psychology, because you need to be able to cater for your diverse group of employees in your company. Secondly, building awareness and educating colleagues. So this is all about having a range of educational resources, everything from infographics to blogs to video to podcasts to in-person training and workshops. And that is because everyone learns differently. Some people learn by visual, some people learn better by audio, some people a combination of both. But it's really important that you're able to help the whole continuum of your employee universe. And thirdly, senior leaders champion the cause. I'm going to give you a fantastic first-hand example of where I've seen this have massive impact. So we rolled out our services to a global investment bank. And as part of the launch, we ran a mental health webinar and we invited the COO and founding partner of the investment bank to come on with me in front of the whole company, share his experience of mental health and his story. I shared my experience and struggles of having an invisible illness for the last few years. And straight after that webinar, we had 35% of bookings from that cohort of people coming from managing director and director level for using mental health services, something that had never happened in the history of this investment bank. So it really shows you how phenomenal it can be when senior leaders really take charge. And then I want to give you end with 3 real-life examples that we've implemented here at MYNDUP, but also some FTSE 100 companies in the industry, in the tech industry as well. Firstly, remote working, and I'm going to be using IBS as a worked example throughout this. So people that suffer with IBS, they can have symptoms very unexpectedly, like myself, and it's very difficult to be in public when you have those symptoms. So having a remote or hybrid thing in place really does help with that. But then taking that a level deeper now, we're actually going to talk about dress codes. Now, there was an academic research that was done recently that actually showed that tight-fitting clothes cause sufferers of IBS to make their symptoms worse. But then the study went on to then show that being out in public with looser fitting clothes, which actually provide more relief, can cause a lot of anxiety. And can also it concluded to say that those people felt quite sloppy. So it's really important that you have that hybrid approach to actually cater for things like this. And then also flexible working hours. Now, I'm actually going to use the example of Avast, the world's largest cybersecurity company, FTSE 100 listed. And this is public information that they have a policy of no core hours, no core days, unlimited holiday. And I think it's fantastic and inspirational to see that a large company like that really taking initiative to really help their diverse range of people that they have at the organization. And I just want to end on it. The whole topic today is all about the people from these cohorts not necessarily disclosing what they have again and again and again and again, hundreds of times a year to different people. It's all about creating an environment for them to really flourish and be empowered and uplifted. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that today. Any questions, happy to send me an email, or happy to chat in the networking as well.